AI has taken over the world and revolutionized business. But it's not only large companies that are able to put AI to work. Get this, 78% of small business leaders say AI is a game changer for their business. And who better to further break down that stat than our Salesforce SVP of Growth Marketing, Boone Lai, who joins us now on set. Boone, thank you so much for being here. You've got an incredible resume in the AI space.
Thank you.
We try to hype you up, you know?
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
What trends do you see shaping the future of SMB technology?
Yeah, I mean, this is a great question. First of all, thanks very much for the invitation, Gary. Great to be here. I think for us, we've seen the increased adoption and increased impact of AI to small businesses. And in particular, we've seen them increase their investment, which is quite surprising, particularly around 3 specific use cases, around marketing use cases, content generation use cases, as well as customer service use cases. And we've seen that with great AI comes from great data. So specifically, data management and security are also key themes that SMB are very concerned about.
Absolutely, great data, absolutely. We always say, like, when it comes to AI and garbage in, garbage out, right? When it comes to that data.
Sure.
What are some of the biggest challenges that small businesses are facing right now?
Well, small businesses tend to have smaller organizations and more limited resources. But despite these constraints, they also have to compete against their larger competitors, right? And they have to make sure that they're, just as agile and just as fast. Also, staying ahead with the fast-changing technology, the pace that we're seeing with AI and the revolution around this, are also common challenges that we've seen with SMBs.
Yeah, as you mentioned, because of the more limited resources, though, so what are ways that AI can help these SMBs solve those challenges you just mentioned?
Yeah, I mean, I think the democratization of AI has been super helpful because it's giving more accessibility to many companies, especially SMBs.
Yeah.
And we've seen that with SMBs in particular, they've been also leveraging around the predictive AI to really help with forecasting sales and helping with a lot of the sales ops back-end operations to be a lot more efficient. They're leveraging around with agents, specifically around customer service use cases, and helping to also improve their operations all across that. So SMBs who really embrace AI have increased their productivity. They've actually been able to customize and give more personalized customer experiences to their customers, and as a result of that, been accelerating their revenue growth. So AI is absolutely a game changer for SMBs.
I love that, and despite how fast the AI revolution is happening, and it's happening so fast,
Yeah.
but some concerns are always surrounding trust, right? And security. When it comes to SMBs, security and trust is essential, especially when it comes to implementing AI. So how is Salesforce addressing that concern of trust and security for SMBs and AI?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. For many years now, as you know, AI has been embedded across Salesforce's platform. And trust is our #1 value. And so as you can see, across all of our products and platform, there is a mechanism in place to make sure that your data stays as your data. And specifically that there are data, that the data is actually safe and stay private. And while AI have access to it, they are only allowed access to the data that really matters and that is important for the task at hand. So, as you can see, we've kind of make sure that we're putting all of these in place and making sure that, the data stays with your data. Specifically, I would say, Agentforce is the agentic layer for the Salesforce platform. And with autonomous data, it really helps we empower them, the autonomous data. We also make sure that they are also aware with guardrails and hand off to the human when needed.
Yeah, I love that. And that guardrails makes customers feel at ease because there are clearly limitations when it comes to that trust and that secure data.
Right, and you are in control of your data.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
Which of course we want to be in control of all that data.
Right.
What advice do you have for small businesses who are wanting to get started with AI?
Yeah, I mean, I would say start experimenting right now and figure out some of the best use cases to help operationalize and automate your businesses in particular. I would say start small and figure out, starting with, for example, a lot of the mundane tasks that your teams are kind of bogged down with, And so that would actually free up a lot more time for strategic, more higher value stuff, work that your team and yourself can focus on.
Got it. So focus on what are my use cases that I need.
Right.
That's my first thing that I got to take care of. Oh, this is where I can start saving time by addressing these specific tasks.
Right, exactly.
When it comes to preparing an organization for AI, so
Right.
how can SMBs best prepare for the integration of AI and even other advanced technologies?
Right, I think that's a really great question. It goes back to sort of, great data, great AI comes from great data. And so to me, it's about data, 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 the quality of your data, how do you manage your data, and also data security. So I would say specifically, when we kind of talk around making sure that you organize your data in the right way, leverage, a good CRM that can grow with your business, like Salesforce, right? When we talk about data security, we talked about how important it is to make sure there is trust, and that you're leveraging a trusted platform that will be around for a long time, that will continue to support your business. And as we kind of talk through all of this, making sure that it's always you being in control of your data and your security.
Yeah. You kind of touched on this already, but how can small businesses get started with AI today, right now?
Yeah, I think, as we've seen at World Tour this week, you can leverage on so many great resources from Salesforce, specifically around understanding what AI agents are and building your own agents in Trailhead. You can get started on that today. It's free. And then the second thing as well is existing Salesforce customers can leverage on Foundation, which actually, once you activate that, it actually unlocks Agentforce for you and your business.
Can you tell me more about Salesforce Foundations? Because it's an amazing opportunity for these small businesses to build on their products.
Right, yeah. So Foundations, we start with Foundations because it's actually a freemium that is attached to your EE Plus SKUs. And it actually unlocks two things. One, which is cross-cloud. So if you're a Sales Cloud customer, you actually now get features and functionality that is freemium for you for Service Cloud, Marketing Cloud, and Commerce Cloud. But more importantly, it actually brings together all of these capabilities with the agentic layer with Agentforce. So it unlocks Agentforce for you and your business. So you could start to leverage on autonomous data agents and also help to get the most out of AI for your business.
One of my favorite words is freemium. It's free, actually, and so it's a great opportunity to get your feet in the water.
Exactly.
When it comes to AI. The last thing that you kind of touched on, but I'd love to hear you talk about it again, is simply the fact that small businesses, while smaller with resource, sometimes there's like this myth that I don't have the ability to invest in AI because I'm a small business. What would you say to that?
Well, I think that many companies, especially smaller companies, are already investing in tech and many different tech stack. Yeah. But if you actually look at it, there is probably a lot of duplication in your technology investment. So here's an opportunity for you to consolidate into a unified, very powerful single platform that enables you to do, as I mentioned on Foundation, multiple clouds on sales features and functionality, service, marketing, and commerce. Yeah. All those are great value for your business, and particularly with freemium, you're unlocking Agentforce as well that enables you to accelerate and start to test autonomous agents, as well as all of the AI capabilities that Salesforce has to offer. Right, so consolidate, kind of focus on a powerful, unified platform that can then accelerate your business.
Freemium, though. You got it. Thank you so much, Boone, for your insights, and thank you for joining us here at the desk. To learn more about Salesforce for small business, go to salesforce.com/SMB, or just scan the QR code on your screen.